Good afternoon, everybody, and how the devil are you on this wonderful virtual crafty weekend? I hope you've been enjoying what's been going on previously. I've certainly had a good day watching while trying to get prepped for this afternoon. Oh, hang on. I'll just turn my volume off on YouTube. That's better. Yeah, the neighbours got a rude awakening this morning. I woke them up with a chainsaw, chopping some wood. Just get that up there. Right, I'll bring the guys in. At the moment, we have Mark, my usual earworm, and Dale, one of my other usual earworms as well. I did send a link out. I did send a link out to Jamie as well, but he was certainly looking a bit tired in Costas. So we'll see if he comes in. Right,
he was looking shattered.
I'm going to change the camera onto that one. There we go. So what we've got on the lathe today is a piece of sycamore. It's around about 12 inches diameter. It's going to end up around about 2 inches deep. The bottom is going to be a fairly plain shaped bowl. Maybe have a bit of texture on there with the Robert Sorby texturing tool. But the magic's going to come on the top when I start putting some colour on there. And yes, I am doing colour. Turning speed, about 650 at the moment till I get this balanced. And I'll let the guys carry on and let me know who's in the chat.
Well, it's a busy old chat today, so we're going to kick this one off and we'll do a run through. Sorry if I miss anyone, but we're going to try and get everyone squeezed in. We've got Andy H is for turning. We've got Benjamin BF turning, Barry Fisher, Brent Bowcroft, Brian at Hartwood turning, the one and only Carl Jacobson, Circular Keith by Wood, Colin Izzard, David Deadman, David Eisenhower, Douglas Mungham, Emma, Mum Dragon TT, Forking Hours, Fred Taylor, Gerald the French Turner, Robert and Harry at Hodgepodge Woodworks. You're on later, guys. Looking forward to that. Ian the Monkey Hanger Turner, the one and only Jake Thompson, Jiggy Shed, John S. Casting, John Scafello, Jordan Woodworks, Chris Gershwin, Lawrence Bagida, Malcolm Douglas, Mark Pritchard, Michael McEwen, Mike Q from Elminster, who I think was first, Nick Castle, Twisted Peaks from Trees, Richard B., Rob CP, Robert Ubijo. Oh, sorry, Robbo. Sorry, Ronnie, I should say. Rabadab Wood, Sebastian Ossenhar, Sidley61, Steve Ellis, Steve Jeremiah, Stephen Scott, the one and only Beard 16, Lewis the Klondike Craftsman, some chap called Wayne the Wood Turner, Wivey Woodshed, and Wood Turning by Alvaro. And there'll be a few other people who were popping in just as I was reading that out. So if I've missed it, I apologize.
Only 1969's in. That's a new name. Bonnie, welcome to the channel.
Watching. Yep. 89 watching, young Wayne.
Excellent.
Sebastian Ossenhalfer's in.
Said him.
Peter the Parkwood Turner.
Didn't say him.
Seth from Brickhouse Craftworks.
Didn't say him either.
Leroy 500's in. Hi, Leroy. Welcome along, everybody. 91 watching.
No, there's not. There's 95 watching. Folks, here on the Virtual Craft... Oh, sorry, mate. Here on the Virtual Crafty today, if you want to catch up on who's coming up next, please follow the link. We're just dropping into that. I'll drop you into the playlist, and I'll make sure you catch up on whoever else is still on for the remainder of the day. Sorry, Mark.
Cornish Maid's in. Hi, Katie.
Right. As you can tell, I'm going very slowly.
Noticed. Jimmy Page is clearly still awake. He said practice piece in a super chat.
We will, I'd say it probably is a practice piece, this one, Jamie.
You have 99 people, 100 people watching, Wayne.
Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Quick question out there from Douglas Munning. All hail the Wood Jedi. A Wood Magician, he's decided to call you today. Can texturing without a texturing tool? I'm not sure what that means, Douglas. Clearly been up very long today. Have another go, sir.
Yes, you can texture without a texturing tool. You can use just about anything. Oh, better clean that out the other way first.
You can use a brick, which is technically a texturing tool. Certainly 61, the gauntlet's been thrown down, Wayne. Folks, remember, if you like what Wayne's doing, please hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and give that notification bell a ring. That will tell the YouTube algorithm you really like his content, and it'll make sure it recommends them in future.
All right.
Paul Smith's in. Hi, Paul. Woodrun Paul.
Hey, you do it. It's having a bit of fun. Do Lathe turn in the opposite direction in the UK? I don't know. You do it. You probably have to tell us what direction to turn where you are. 104 watching, Wayne.
Brilliant.
Duncan the Curly Turner's in. Afternoon again, all. Sebastian wants to share this. He says, I do texturing without a texturing tool all the time. Mostly not on purpose, though.
SK Grass is in. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Copper Wood turnings in. You have 113 watching, Wayne. Remember, folks, hit that thumbs up to tell that YouTube algorithm you really like Wayne's content. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and give that notification bell a ring. Rich, the Beard 16, asked this. Question. Let's help Wayne settle in after the fest of the day with a glass or 5 of wine. And he's popped in your buy me a coffee link.
Cheers.
113 watching.
Scott, the blue light turner's in.
Hi, Scott.
Emma says 113 and only 5 likes. Emma, we see 62 likes here. But folks, if you want to bump that total up a bit more to help that YouTube algorithm, please just give them a little tickle and help it along.
Scott Take's in. Hi, Scott Take.
It's looking very big, Wayne. Any colouring? Oh no, of course. We're doing so. You're doing some.
I am
Dendrite.
doing colouring. Yeah. Some of you might not have seen this technique before. I have tried it a couple of times, and we'll see. I had a go earlier on today. Oops.
Steve Jeremiah's in the chat. Duncan the Colour Tunnel's here if I didn't see you earlier on, Duncan. My apologies. Dara Cullen is in.
Hi, Dara.
Scott Tags in. The Barry is in.
Right then.
Jordan from Woodworks is saying, why isn't Wayne done yet? Is he okay?
I'm trying to slow.
Hi,
I'm trying to slow down, but it's not working. I'm going to take a little bit more out of that mortise.
If we sit down and drink some of the wines that people have bought you.
Welcome
CG
along,
Hobbies
Ruby.
is in.
Good to see you.
Cracker Jackson.
Here we go. Right, I'll
Doug Miller's
just
in.
do a bit of sanding in the mortise, and then I'll put some texture in there.
John N's helpfully reminding us all that you're up to 118. Folks, if you like what Wayne's doing, remember, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and give that notification bell a bit of a ring. That'll make sure YouTube recommends his content in the future to you.
CJ's Hobbies is asking, is this a 2 hour or 1 hour? Just a 1 hour today.
Well, the way I usually do this is usually gets finished in about 35 minutes, which is why I'm trying not to go too fast today.
Lucas Mungham's asking.
Sorry, I think what he means is, am I doing 2 hours on the crafty? No, I'm not doing 2 hours this month on the crafty.
Lucas Mungham's asking, all hail the Wood Magician. Are you using the 40/40 or the 45 grind? Speedy Gonzalez.
I was using both. I used the 45/45 to sort of roughly shape the piece, and then I used the 40/40 to do a finishing cut, which needs some more work on it. I'll just put some texture into the bottom here.
Rex B is asking the important question of the day. Is Drilly going to make an appearance?
Oh, yes.
Brian's clearly singing. After the delirium of his live earlier on, he said, slow down, you're going too fast. Barry's recommending you can always do a Q&A if you're going too fast.
Yeah, that's what I did the last time.
You may need every minute though, depending how the next part of this goes.
Move that back in. I'm just going to get this lined up just to highlight the texturing.
Yeah, Lawrence Begida is suggesting you should change lathe, Wayne, to slow down.
Jordan Woodworks is asking, how many RPM for the texturing tool, please?
Usually, I did that a wee bit on the fast side because I didn't change the speed. But it is usually 500 for using the Robert Sorby texturing tool.
Sebastian Ossenhofer is saying, what kind of chuck is this? The mortise looks quite shallow.
Oh, see, that's the thing with mortises. Mortises don't need to be deep. They need to be the right size. I usually do my mortises around about 3 mil. For those of you that work in inches, that's around about 1/8 of an inch. That's all you need, as long as the mortise fits properly.
James Crawford's in. And say Coney and Jojo is in.
Hi, Chocho.
Right, I'm going to change gouge. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch ball gouge to see if I can get a better finishing cut, because I'm not that pleased with the finishing cut I've got on this.
You have 120 watching, Wayne.
Excellent. Cheers, guys.
They call him, Dale, they call him the streak fastest thing on 2 feet.
2 feet.
2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. 2 feet. I thought it'd be the flash. Wayne the Flash wood turner. And that clearly involves some kind of quiffy haircut, though, Wayne. So you might not want to go for it.
No, I'll not bother with that one.
Emma's asking,
Hey,
are we going
Copper.
to see Bernie today?
No, no Bernie. You're going to see some magical paintwork. That's what you're going to see today. In fact, I'll tell you what, I've probably got time, so I'll stick a bit more texture on this, I think. So I'll put some, where'd I put, I'll put that away, get that back out again. I'll do some highlights and then I'll do some texture in between the highlights.
A few things out in the chat. We have Copper L saying I had trouble with shallow mortises when also using a foot. Not enough strength, it blew out. We have Hodgepodge asking Dale, did you find your missing tooth? Yes, within a few seconds of actually finishing the piece earlier on today. Crackerjack, can I assume that you would have a deeper mortise if you were going to core the bowl?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I'd probably use a different set of jaws if I was going to do any coring on a bowl. Anyway, it would probably be a bigger mortise and it would be deeper as well. I'm just going to put a bit of texture in between these lines. Whenever you're doing any texturing using the Robert Sorby tool anyway, try and get the tool so it's at 90 degrees to the area that you're going to texture.
You have 125 watching, Wayne. Joe the French Turner's asking a question. All hail the wood. All hail the master, the wood Jedi. Will you be doing Lichtenberg effect or is it too dangerous?
I never do anything to do with anything like that because it is too dangerous as far as I'm concerned. There are speciality machines that you can use to do that, but no, you will never see me doing Lichtenberg burning. What you might see, which is a different type of effect, or is it a similar type of effect, but using paint, which is probably what I'm going to be doing this afternoon.
Andy Llanelli's in. Andy?
Good afternoon.
123 watching.
Right, we'll start doing some sanding. Thanks everybody for coming across and watching this happen.
Braxton Wilson's in. Hi, Braxton.
Afternoon, Braxton.
And that. Oh, that's the wrong song, isn't it? If it wasn't for your drilly, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or infirmary.
Right, that was 80. This one's 120.
Peter Lake's in. Hi, Peter.
And we will finish off the sanding with 240.
Thank you, Andy.
There we go.
Mark the Garden Workshop's in. Question. Why was Grogu never taken to the Wood Jedi? Well, he was called I think he was it IDR? Now, the Beard section is clearly working his way through the Mandalorian.
I'm just going to use some spray-on Chestnut Products cellulose sand and sealer.
Thank you, Jojo. It's very kind.
There we
Are
go.
you going to grit this?
I am going to grit this.
No.
Copper is not what I would call it, but thank you anyway.
You can't really see much of the texture at the moment. I'll wait till I finish the bottom, then I'll show it to the camera. Wonder if it shows up better on that one. So now I'm using Yorkshire grit, which is why you only need to sand to 240, and you don't need to knock back the sand and sealer, because Yorkshire grit is an abrasive paste and it does the job for you.
Katie the Cornish Mason, how much wood would a wood Jedi chuck if a wood Jedi could chuck wood? He would chuck as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a wood Jedi would if a wood Jedi could chuck wood. With
There we go.
I would suggest he would use the Force and he wouldn't chuck anything. But I'm just saying.
Right, I've turned the speed down to around about 250 to start working the grit in. And the whole purpose of using Yorkshire grit is that you're not using sort of 400, 600, 800 abrasive paper, because it's the really fine dust particles that get into and start affecting your lungs. So what you're doing here is basically wet sanding. So Yorkshire grit is a mixture of mineral oil, I think there's lemon oil in there, beeswax, and also rotten stone. And it's the rotten stone that is the abrasive part of it. And as you're working it in, the abrasive, the rotten stone, breaks down and becomes finer and finer until eventually you end up with a finish that's at about 1,000 grit. I'll put that back on, get a clean piece of paper, turn the speed up, and then still carry on working it in.
Mum Dragon says you need to say Yorkshire grit 3 times for the Yorkshire wizard to appear.
Robert Lapsley's got a question. All hail the Wood Jedi. Is there a way to highlight the texture with hand-painted acrylics?
Well, you can just use an embellishing wax. But yes, you can use just ordinary acrylics to highlight. What I would recommend doing, this is where it gets fun, I'd recommend just getting a little bit on your finger. And then putting it onto the texture like that. So it's like a dry covering effect. But do the painting side of this after you do the sand and sealer. And you probably won't be using Yorkshire grit, so it will have to be sanded properly. Then you put the sand and sealer on, then you knock the sand and sealer back before you apply any acrylic paints. That's this Yorkshire grit done its job, and now I'm going to finish this off with microcrystalline wax. This gives it a good hard-wearing finish. I've put this top on properly, and I can't get it off with my fingers. Where's my skew chisel?
You have 128 watching, Wayne. You have 79 thumbs up. Folks, if you like what Wayne's doing, please hit that thumbs up button. And hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and give that old notification bell a ring. That tells the YouTube algorithm you like Wayne's content. It'll continue to ensure that you receive it as he launches new stuff. If you particularly like what Wayne's doing, up at the top of the page and in the description, there's a buy Wayne a coffee, or in this case, buy Wayne a wine. And what that will do is give you the chance to buy him a wine and say thank you for all the hard work that he puts into all of these lives.
Any support that people give me through the Buy Me a Coffee page goes straight back into new stuff for the workshop. Usually tech stuff, so I can carry on doing the lives or improve the lives.
And Wayne of the Big Feeties is in. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Wayne and Valerie.
All right. So that's the bottom finish. So you can see the texture that I've put on there now.
You can indeed.
And up at the rim as well. So I'll flip this over.
Going for 26 minutes.
Looks lovely, mate.
Oh, grand.
Looks lovely.
Grand.
You're 132 people watching, young sir.
Excellent. Cheers, guys.
Folks, remember, if you want to see who's on next, the link I've just posted into the chat takes you to the Virtually Crafty YouTube channel. The link takes you directly to the playlist where you'll see who's on next. Coming up after this, at the top of the hour, we have the one and only urban Viking himself, Mr. Randy Heel, who is doing some prop creation. I think he's chosen a Star Wars theme today, so he's doing a prop from the movie, I think, Return of the Jedi. So tune in and check out what he's doing. But wait till Wayne's finished. Don't be going anywhere. Got 90 thumbs, young man. Benjamin is saying, how would you fill the texturing with embellishing wax, though, without it getting into the grain surrounding it? Sealer first?
Yeah. You use sand and sealer. I'd say before any wax, you're going to be using a sand and sealer.
Lewis the Klondike Grassman's asking, does Wayne know how many lives he's done since COVID started?
8 million.
Got to be at least 150.
Right. If you average them out, if you take an average of 3 a week since last April, I believe.
$8 million. He's telling me. He's understating the fact. It's 8 million.
Right, let's see if that's straightened off. Yeah, it is. I'm just going to take the edge off here because it's quite sharp. And what I'm going to do now is just try and decide where the colouring is going to go. I think I'll go there.
Mark Smith is in. Hi,
Very
Mark.
wide. Go there, and I'm going to clean that channel out, and I'm going to take it fairly deep, because I'm going to try and do this without getting the paint coming over the top.
Benjamin saying with a wry smile on his face, how many of those 150 odd pieces do you still have, Wayne?
Well, there's a few gone down to Jamie. I've actually sold quite a few of them because they usually went straight from here into a shop.
I personally think the number of lives you've done is closer to 175.
Don McGee's in. Hi, Don.
Folks, remember, if you like what Wayne's doing, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and give that notification bell a bit of an old clang. That'll tell the YouTube algorithm that you really like this content, and it'll continue to recommend it to you as you go forward. If you don't like this content, there are other options on how you can get out of that. If you really, really like what Wayne's doing, remember, you can always buy this man a coffee at the link at the top of the chat or in the description. Why hit that then do a super chat? Well, the main reason is that YouTube are changing the way they tax, and let's make sure that you get more of your donation to them directly rather than being taxed at, I think it's 40% by YouTube if you're now in US.
Well, 30% YouTube take of super chats.
And then they're taxing you and your income beyond that.
Yeah.
So if you want to help, you want to reach out.
Yeah, unless you fill in the forms and everything, so you don't get taxed because of the UK and tax agreement with America.
Wayne and the Big Woodcraft is saying 175, Dale, you're joking, man. Rex B says, I have one of Wayne's pieces on the fireplace mantle. And Robert says, wow, Rex, I misread that as in the fireplace at first. Good Lord.
Oh.
Rex B goes on to say, Wayne's piece and Mark's piece are side by side. Oh, you see that? No, I'm not going to go there.
So what I've actually done in here, this is the channel where the paint's going to go, and I've undercut on both sides to try and hold the paint in. I'm just going to finish off the bowl section. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right, there we go. There's a different view. It's just going to have a very small bowl section in the middle. This is not about the bowl, it's more about the colour.
Gerard the French Turner's got a question. He says, all hail the Master Wood Jedi. What do you take for payment? Cash or online? Vintage, of course.
Wine, I suspect. I'm not sure he's fussy about where in the world the wine comes from, as long as he enjoys it. I think that's really where we're going on this one. So he's quite international in that respect. You're coming up to, you're past the half hour, Wayne. You're 16:33.
Oh, grand.
Excuse me.
What am I doing?
I hope you know. You're in awe. Derek Cohen says Wayne would rather be paid by the bottle.
Huey's in. How do you?
Hiya, Shug. Right, get that sanded up.
Here's a question. How is the Wood Jedi and the panel of heroes this afternoon? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, folks of the chat. Not a question, more of a statement. So where did we get to? Oh yeah, if it wasn't for your dilly, where would you be? You'd be in the hospital or in the infirmary, because you'd have to stand behind, which would be a catastrophe. So you better keep your horns on your drilly. It was more of the spoken verse type, you know, like William Shatner reading Ruby in the Sky with Diamonds.
Well, that was 120. I'm not bothering sanding the where the paint's going to go, because it doesn't really need it. So that's not getting sanded in here. I will put sand and sealer in here, and hopefully that'll give something for the paint to hold on to.
Douglas Langham saying Chateau Rothschild in it.
Hotspot says, I bet Huey's just woken up after his late night celebrations over his victory last night.
Give this a clean out with a brush. Right, I'm going to have to be very careful when I do any finishes on this, because I don't want to get any wax in here, otherwise the paint won't stick. That can's nearly empty, so I'm getting another one.
Coney and Jojo says, if Wayne is the Master Jedi, then I call myself the Padawan.
Right.
And just remember, folks, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just saying.
129 watching, Wayne.
Excellent. Right, I'm just going to
I have
see if I can.
One over here.
Just get the Yorkshire grit.
131, yep.
Folks, if you like what Wayne's doing and you like his content, please remember, hit that thumbs up. Give that subscribe button a tickle if you're not already a subscriber. And always, always clang that notification bell so that you get reminded of any new content Wayne puts out. Wayne regularly does ad hoc content to help out other turners and does pop-up lives to help those folks out. He also does releases videos, mostly on a Sunday night. But occasionally during the week too. So please hit that notification bell. Make sure you get to see his content as it comes up. If you're enjoying what he's doing, by all means, buy the man a wine by using the Buy Me a Coffee link at the top of the chat or down in the description. Seems most people quite like you, Wayne. You have 98 thumbs up.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Barry's in the shed, isn't he?
This is just the ordinary bit. Wait till I start the colouring.
Folks, I hope you're enjoying your day on the Virtual Crafty. Next up at the top of the hour, we have the one and only Urban Viking himself, Mr. Andy Heal. Andy will be making a prop from the movie Return of the Jedi, I think, although you better go and check it out. I saw the prototype of this, and it's very cool.
It is very, very cool.
Ruby's got a question. She says, why not do the wax after the painting?
But there, Ruby, the painting on this, it's going to take 3 or 4 days to dry. because of the type of technique I'm doing. And what I wanted to do was try and have somewhat of a completed bowl for you to see towards the end. Although I'll not be lifting it up, it'll be sitting here and you'll see it on the overhead camera. So I'll just get rid of some of these tools now off there. So I've got some room on the lathe bed.
You have 135 watching, Wayne, and 100
Excellent.
thumbs ups.
Thank you, guys. Very much appreciated. I'm pleased you're liking what I'm doing. Well, so far.
You're up to 139 watching since we started that sentence.
Right. Let's get this off the lathe. I'll just chuck that on the floor.
You didn't want that bit anyway.
No, I didn't want that bit anyway. Get that around about centralized there. Right. Now I'll go and get my first bit of paint.
While he's getting the paint, why not buy him a wine by using the link at the top of the chat?
Right, so what I've got here, it's white acrylic paint, which has been thinned down with, what's it thinned down with? Floetrol or flow medium. It's to the consistency of probably about double cream. And I'm hoping it's going to pour so I don't have to use any brushes or anything. But we will see.
Looks like it's gonna.
There may be a couple of lumps in there.
Right. That looks really like it. If you get enough.
I think I'll have enough, yeah.
That looks really good. Just right. So is it a 40-40-20 mix, or is it just a 50-50?
I'm not actually certain, Dale. I just had a bit of a play.
Just fiddled around with it. Folks, frequently when people do this pouring medium, they tend to do a 40-40-20 mix. So that's 40% paint, 40% flow medium, and 20% water. I'm
getting a couple of lumps in there, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm hoping they'll get hidden.
Transcafella says he uses Windex as flow medium. That would work, sir. It has the right consistency and the right stuff in it. You can also use PVA. You could just use water. Water will work too. But the Floetrol, flow medium, and others are all designed what they called wet water, because they just add that extra bit of movement to the paint.
They don't dilute the color, do they?
They don't dilute the color, and
they don't bind.
What it is that it's got a lower surface tension than water.
Yeah,
that's why it's called wet water.
They don't bind to the molecules of the paint. That way, it just becomes an agent, so the paint stays exactly the same. And it tends to be, particularly when you're using white, flowed medium tends to be white too, so it becomes very difficult to separate out. The Beard 16 says he gets his water from his tap.
See, flow medium is ideal to use when you use the likes of Joe Sonia iridescence, because that comes out really thick and creamy. That does. So you usually want to have it thinned down. And the thing is, if you do thin it down with water, you lose the strength of the paint. Right, is that looking okay? That looks a bit washed out to me.
From here, the camera looks a little weak. Not picking out the color. I suspect you'll get lots of light above it, kind of washing it out. You have 142 watching, Wayne.
Right. Okay. I'm going to try a couple of different things with this. I have got. Jane was very surprised the other day when a parcel arrived, and there was a load of syringes in there.
What a terrible time to give up sniffing glue.
Right. This is white acrylic paint, which has been thinned down, like I say, with flow medium. I am now going to use blue. I love using blue with this technique. I'm using a blue acrylic ink. So that's what I'm using, a blue acrylic ink.
The
And it's
brand,
got a
folks, is
dropper.
Liquitex.
So what I'm going to do is just put some drops on here. I'll put one drop on and see what happens. You can actually see the effect starting now. That's the dendrite effect. It'll go even better when I put some silicone oil on there. And now you should be able to see things happen. So this is the type of effect that I'm after. So I'll put another few drops around. And then just get some silicone oil into them.
Do you have any of the other magic juice hiding in one of those other syringes?
I have, but what that tends to do, what I found today, Dale, is if I put the alcohol in there, it just thins out all of the colour. It makes it spread a hell of a lot further, but it just tends to thin it out.
John Scarborough says he's late to the party. Could Wayne explain what it is he's making, please?
Right, what I'm doing, it's a bowl that I made, but I'm using a different type of painting technique, which is called Dendrite Fractal painting. And this is where you use acrylic ink over the top of acrylic paint, and you also use silicone oil as well. Now you can use, in fact, I will show you. You can use, I'll do it on a separate one. You can use denatured alcohol as well as the silicone. Stick a drop there. Put a drop of silicone on like that, and I'll put a drop of, try not to get too much. Now, you've usually got to wait for this to happen, but once the alcohol breaks through the oil, it tends to go mental.
You can already see the density of the dendrites is higher.
There you go.
The
See,
flows higher. There it goes.
Steve Jeremiah would like to know, where can you get the silicone oil from, please?
Anywhere. I got mine from Amazon. It's silicone oil, and it's used for cleaning sewing machines, treadmills, things like
Scroll saws,
lubricating, scroll saws, sewing machines, all these types of things, treadmills.
Rich is asking,
yeah,
what stops the paint drying out and shrinking as it is so thick?
Time and not letting it dry out too quick. Right, should I fill the white up with blue?
I think you should, so.
Yeah.
Similar blobs with the alcohol gives it the same look, perhaps?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I do like this technique.
Yeah, Dale and I have discussed this technique for weeks and weeks and weeks now. Oh, wrong one.
My word. That's bold.
that was wrong. That was the alcohol. That wasn't the... I spoiled that one.
Give it a
John
minute.
Scarborough's asking, what's the white base, please?
It's white acrylic paint, thinned down with flow medium.
That was naughty. I left my phone on. My apologies, Wayne.
There we go. Oh, I'll stick a bit on that one. So what do you reckon? You like it? Let's bring it up to the camera so you can get a better look at the actual effect.
That looks really cool. And it's not done yet, is it?
No. It'll carry on. It'll carry on going.
That looks so awesome.
Folks, if you like what Wayne's doing here, remember, hit that thumbs up. You know, I mean, this is a really cool technique, and Wayne's really pioneering it in the use in wood turning.
John Scarborough's asking as well, how long will this take to dry completely, please?
Probably about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I was going to say about a week. A general recommendation from the boys and girls who do paint pouring is that if you're using silicone oil, you want to leave it about 7 days before you do any further treatments, because you may need to remove the silicone oil with a bit of a wash. But other than that, it's really about 4 or 5 days to just go brick hard, which is really what you're looking for.
I've just put alcohol on that one, so this should, once the alcohol gets through, it should start spreading out again.
It always gives it an almost ceramic china look.
That's it with the alcohol now. It's just gone through the silicone oil into the paint, and it's started spreading it all over the place again. We've got an eye there.
When this is completely dry, Wayne, can you cover it with a lacquer?
Yes.
Spray lacquer?
Yeah, and cover it with a lacquer, because by the time it's completely dry, all of the solvents within the wax will have evaporated off as well. So I'll be able to lacquer the whole thing.
Douglas Mungham's asking, he's directing it at me, but I think it's to both of us really, Wayne. Where did you find the information? Myself and Wayne were having a conversation one night about there must be another way to achieve something similar to Lichtenberg without the danger. We spent a few weeks sort of fishing around and doing some research in various channels, and this is what we discovered that would probably work in a range of applications.
Now the thing is that I tend to watch, and I know Dale does as well, I tend to watch a hell of a lot of different art channels on YouTube, which is where the majority of my ideas come from. With the likes of the string pull, I first saw the string pull done on an art channel on YouTube, and I thought that'll look absolutely brilliant on wood turning, whether it's on a flat pieces of wall hanging or whether it's on a vase, something like that, decorating the outside of a vase. So that came from there. The use of Joe Sonia iridescence, that actually came from other wood turners that did. Mainly, I'm going to forget his name again. Oh, doesn't matter. Anyway, it'll come to me. Douglas, yes, you could cover that with resin once it's all dried, with a clear resin. Shug, you should have bought me a coffee. Thank you very much for the super chat, Shug.
There's the link for Andy's show next.
Yeah, Andy is up next. He is going to be carving something awesome. A few of us have already seen the results of the practice pieces that he's been doing. He's spent quite a long time developing what he's going to be doing. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'll just let you find out when you go across and see Andy. Right, it's coming up to 5 to 5. I'm going to end that there. I'll give you one final look. I'll put it back onto the overhead and let you see what it looks like. I hope you've enjoyed what I've done there. I love this technique. It is really, really cool. I did try one with black paint with red dendrite. That didn't work. So that was me practice piece that I was doing earlier on. I'll just bring the guys back in. So in Sierra. Enjoy the rest of the Crafty Festival. It's been absolutely brilliant so far, and there's some really good people to come later.
I'm going to pop over now into Young Andy's, and I'll see you folks
Grant,
there.
I'll see you there. I'm going to end this now. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming in. It's really appreciated, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.